Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas with you this morning, and we are visiting with some very old and dear friends. Not very old, very dear.
I was going to say, come on.
Wow, she's really
off to a really rough start here. We've got Michelle Beyer and Terry Hunka in the studio, and Terry, of course, with the Martin Center, and you remember him from here, and Michelle Beyer you remember from here, and she is working with a great event. It's called a Family Christmas Eve, Share the Warmth. So, first of all, how did the two of you end up working on this? I know I see you at the committee meeting, so how did this happen?
You.
Fact.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's start with this way then. What is a family Christmas Eve? Michelle, this is something you got started a couple of years ago.
Yes. Bud and I, Bud Kuiper from the Anchor House, I was sitting home one Thanksgiving. I had all this food left over. I didn't know what to do with it all. And I said, I bet there's so many people out there that do not have a place to go for Thanksgiving. So then I did Facebook a few friends and see if they wanted to come over. And then I sat there thinking, what about Christmas Eve? Nobody should be alone on Christmas Eve. So I called up Bud and I said, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to start a Christmas Eve dinner. And he said, well, I already do this at Christmas Eve. I give away coats and hats and this and that. And I do it at the Stark County Library parking lot on Christmas Eve. I said, great, I'm going to do the food. And through volunteers from my Facebook page and his Facebook page, we fed 200 people in the parking lot Christmas Eve. Is it 3 years? It's 3 years ago now.
See, I think what you're saying is just really amazing because you didn't even have a building to hold it in. You went out, you were outside. He already was giving away, distributing clothing for cold weather.
Right.
And you, being the amazing cook you are, fed 200 people?
Yeah.
Where did the food come from?
All of our donators.
From Facebook?
All of our donations came from Facebook. Friends of Bud, friends of mine. Everybody got together. Of course, I did cook 5 hams. I started to tell you I didn't cook anything, but I did.
Gosh.
I cooked 5 hams.
That counts.
Yeah. I won't do that again. So please, we need cooked hams.
Yes.
But it's, completely volunteers did it and brought it in. And people just came out of the woodwork. I mean, we had a lot of food. We had so much food left over that we brought it to the Refuge of Hope.
How cool.
So
last year then would have been the second year you did it.
Last year was the second year.
And you said, we know we can't count on the weather being 70 degrees on Christmas Eve every year.
Right, as it was the first year. It was gorgeous.
Yes.
It was not Christmas Eve. We were so lucky.
So just to be on the safe side, since you do live in Northeast Ohio, we tried to find a place, and Terry Hunka with the Martin Center to the rescue. So Terry, talk about your getting involved with it. And last year, how did it go?
They called me. I said yes, and last year was great. I mean that's about it.
You can't expound on it. How many people did you guys feed last year?
We fed roughly 750 last year.
Yeah.
So you went from 200 to 750. Are you expecting another bump like that in this coming year?
I certainly hope not. I think I think 700 or 800 is pretty good.
Yeah.
It keeps us busy. But the cool thing was, Bud or Michelle, one of you called me and said, "Hey,
it was Gary.
It was Gary.
Yeah,
okay.
I brought my wonderful husband aboard, and he took this event.
He did.
Really
he takes
heights.
it seriously. Yeah.
Well, it helps, and it's one of those things where you see where many hands make light work. You had almost too many volunteers last year, right?
Well, no, we had too many
volunteers.
There's no.
So what do you need? Because people hearing about it, everybody wants to jump on board. Right. They say, this is just the greatest thing. How can I help? We don't really need people to serve dinner that day. What do you need help for?
We're in pretty good shape for volunteers. I think we'll be okay and stuff. What I'm pointing everybody to is Michelle.
Food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need a lot of food to feed 700 people. Now, again, last year through Gary and my Facebook and all that other stuff, we did have enough food to feed everybody.
Wow.
And then we still had enough food to give to Refuge of Hope.
You still had leftovers last year.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
It
was.
was almost the loaves and fishes thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm serious because
That's cool.
Yeah, that's right.
through the afternoon we're going, I don't know if we're going to have, and at the end we gave away food and took a whole bunch over to the refuge.
And I think you were worried a week or so prior. And I'm like, no, I'm not worried. You know, I know it's all going to come in last minute. And even 40 turkeys that we had donated to us from was Community Harvest. We had 40 people cooking those turkeys. They volunteered. I mean, I had one woman in my office take 10.
Okay, somebody's driving right now, and they just heard you say that, and they thought, I know I did not hear that right. Are you saying 40, not 4 or 14?
40.
40 turkeys, and you had enough people to cook them. So I'm guessing you need 40 cookers again, right? 40 turkey cookers?
Yes, I do, actually.
Again? Say that
40
fast.
40 cookers, 40 cookers.
40 turkey cookers.
No, and if they could see the face I'm making when I'm trying to say that.
It's not easy to say, but it's easier to do than to say, right?
Yes,
it's not that
is.
hard to cook a turkey.
No. And we're going to have a button that's going to be up on the Facebook page, on the website that says you want to cook a turkey. And so then we'll have one location where you could pick the turkeys up at, take them home, cook them, and please slice them and bring them back warm. You know, one of the things that we did face last year is people bringing canned goods. And now that's all great and wonderful, but we had to open up all these hundreds of cans. And we had mashed potatoes that were instant that I sat there cooking.
So it's better if they can
hours.
bring it prepared, you're saying?
Yeah, we don't have enough room. We don't have enough manpower. I mean, the Martin Center, their kitchen, wow, did you guys do an amazing job.
Isn't it awesome?
Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
You know, so it's going to be a little bit easier on us, but it's still, we don't have time. We don't have the resources to cook all that. So definitely warm, sliced, ready to go is awesome.
Okay, you mentioned the website, and I'm guessing people can go there to sign up for what they'd like to make. You need somebody to cook a turkey, and then you need side dishes as well, right? And don't feel like we need to create enough for 750 people, because if you've got, just make a nice big pan, bring it on over, and with enough people doing that, there will be enough.
Right, absolutely. We need hams because it's so funny. The first year I had ham and I had turkey. And so this year there were so many people that had gone the first year saying, where's the ham?
Really?
And we had one ham last year.
One.
And so they're like, where's the ham? So, you know, a lot of things that people will say or they will think is little misconceptions about homeless. I work for ICANN Housing, which I am a peer support specialist there, and so I'm helping homeless all the time. People think that, they're homeless, they'll eat anything, and they don't care, and just give it to them, and they don't care what they wear, and so what, if it has holes in it. That's not true. They are just like you and I when it comes to food. They want good, hot, yummy food. They would like, they don't want clothes with holes in it because it's going to have holes in it within a week anyway. They like to look nice. I mean, there are a few that don't care, but for the most part, I'm serious when I say they're like you and me, which is another reason that I do this is because I consider my family. Everybody should be thinking that way anyway. And I don't want anybody to be alone on Christmas Eve.
Right. And when we're thinking about sharing from, but for the grace of God go I, any one of us with a severe illness, with, a job loss, anything, any one of us could find us in that position. And think of how you would feel. Wouldn't you want someone treating you with the dignity that you deserve as a fellow human being? And I think with those of us that when we find ourselves in the position that we're able to share, shouldn't we share something that we would want to receive ourselves? Shouldn't we give to other people's children the kinds of things we would give to our own children? Shouldn't we share with with the elders what we would share with our own parents if they were here? So, it's just, it's a matter of the heart and how we give and where our heart is in the giving. Whether we're okay, this is no good. I wouldn't eat this. This is spoiled and rotten. So let's give it to the homeless.
Yeah,
that's just wrong.
And you want to know one of the biggest things that just burns me is you would not believe how many homeless veterans we have.
Yeah, it's a crime.
That is. There's not one veteran that should ever be homeless or hungry.
You know what? And it's a big
It is.
segment of the homeless population. I bet, I don't know these
is.
numbers, but it's got to be 50, 60, 70%.
Well, I wouldn't go that high, but it's a really good percentage.
It's significant.
Well,
It
and the other
is.
part is look at the significant number of the homeless who are children who have not done any of the decision making that have gotten them into that state.
Right.
The children at Christmas time should not be hungry, and they should be not lacking in anything. So
Well, you hit it on it earlier when you said they deserve some dignity. We
Yes.
need to preserve
Right.
some dignity for people that are down and out.
Right.
I mean,
You know, I was homeless by the standards of you and I thinking, well, I didn't have a place to live. All my stuff was in storage. I got lucky through Susie, who knew someone that actually gave me a room to sleep in an abandoned, well, non-funded house at the time. But by HUD's rules, that's not homeless. HUD says that you have to be sleeping on the street, in the car, or at the shelter. But I was homeless, and I was there because, yes, I was drinking and I was, not paying my bills. And so, but you never knew I was homeless. I looked, because I didn't want you to know.
Right, right.
I had my dignity. I was embarrassed.
Michelle, you put a face on it because look at you now. I mean, look at what you do in our community now to help others that are in need. And maybe just a temporary position. They just need a little bit of a hand up, not a handout.
Right.
And that's kind of what this is. This is more than food on Christmas Eve.
Right.
Talk about the other services and things that are provided that day.
Wow. Well, through Bud and the Anchor House, there will be not only your clothing and your jackets.
I think he said coats and scarves and gloves are going to be, but not just your everyday clothes.
Right.
We can get that to you. You can come in anytime and get that stuff.
Right.
I think we're going to concentrate, correct me if I'm wrong, on coats and hats and gloves.
You're not
And
wrong.
boots.
Okay.
And this is not a time to clean out the closet of all your summer wear because this is warm weather clothing that we're going for.
Right.
Coats, hats, scarves, gloves, boots, warm weather, something that will keep someone
Yes.
warm if they're, as you're saying, on the street.
Right.
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 And the Martin Center has showers.
We do.
That's
We
awesome.
do. We didn't talk about that a lot before last year, and we just decided to do it last minute. Hey, let's open up our locker rooms and let somebody take a shower if they want to. And I don't think it was used tremendously, but people didn't know about it.
How many showers do you have?
We have a boys' locker room and a girls'. So
It's an old school.
It's an old elementary school. So we've got plenty of showers.
Awesome.
And what I loved, I think last year you mentioned that people were using it as a time because you do have hair doing and you can get your nails done and so forth. Get a nice outfit. And people were coming here, having dinner, and then they felt okay to go to church because they felt that they were all dressed up and ready to go. And so they were going to a Christmas Eve service somewhere that they would not have done otherwise.
There was, someone had a haircut, a wife, and her husband had a haircut, and then she got makeup because we were giving makeup and nails and all that kind of stuff, getting them done. And she goes and looks at her husband. She goes, "Ooh, honey, look!" She was all thrilled. I mean, how wonderful is that for a couple? For the wife to feel good because a lot of times we don't. Feel all that great, and we need something from our hubbies, to look at us and say you're beautiful, and that was her moment for that.
Yeah, it was.
And it is so we do provide haircuts, and we do provide makeup, and what makeup that we put on you is the makeup that you get to take with you, basically for sanitary reasons as well. And so we do provide other services. The mental health board, will be there, and quite a few other agencies that are jumping aboard and helping out and offering services.
So people will be able to stop through and see what is available to them, have a wonderful Christmas Eve meal, get some scarves and hats and boots and gloves and coats for themselves and their entire family, if
Right.
if they have children as well. And wow, what a great day. And this all takes place Christmas Eve. And we have got to take a short break. We'll be back with Michelle Beyer and Terry Hunka after these words. You're listening to Our Community.